employees won't advocate for what they don't understand or feel, too many companies mistake brand awareness or internal campaigns for advocacy. But without emotional connection to your strategy, without brand affinity, you'll never be able to build a true culture of alignment, ownership, and advocacy to what you do as a business. That means your machine won't run, not the way you want it to, not the way you desire to. If you want your company to operate like a well-oiled machine, if you want every team, every person, every message pulling in the same direction, there's one thing you cannot overlook, and this is brand affinity. Welcome to episode 199 of the Story Driven Business Podcast. I'm your host, Susanna, author of Story Driven Employer Branding and creator of the Magnetic Employer Branding Method. Today, we're going to talk about a game-changing concept for CEOs and founders who are ambitious, who can achieve their vision, but whose company sometimes feels more like a loose collection of teams than a single aligned force. If that's you, keep listening. Brand affinity is the missing ingredient that turns your strategy into shared purpose and your employees into true advocates. And this episode will go deep. We'll explore what brand affinity really is, how it differs from awareness or recognition, why it matters for internal alignment, and how it creates ROI that's impossible to ignore. I'll give you some examples, maybe some real life moments you can recognize, and practical ways you can build brand affinity inside your organization with the help of your employer branding team, communications, maybe also marketing. Let's dive in. So what is brand affinity? I want to define this very clearly. Brand awareness is when people know your name. Brand recognition is when people can identify you from your logo, from your colors, from your slogan, from your product. But brand affinity, that is when people feel connected to your brand. It's when your strategy resonates with them emotionally, when they don't just understand what you do, but also why it matters to them personally. When employees feel brand affinity, they take pride in working there. They'll talk about the company with enthusiasm. They connect their own identity to the business, and they stay longer, contribute more, and promote you to others organically. It's that difference between an employee saying, I work for a company X, between saying, I belong at company X. So let's talk about why brand affinity builds the machine that you want. Of course, as CEOs, we want systems, we want processes, we want people that work together smoothly, efficiently, and predictably. But here's the truth. Alignment starts with emotion. People will only align to strategy if they believe in it, not because they were told to, because they feel it. Think of elite sports team, military units, world-class companies. Alignment in those businesses and organizations isn't forced. It's emotional. It's based on a purpose. When your employees love the strategy, when they believe it serves a purpose bigger than profit, they give more than compliance. They give energy, innovation, loyalty. The problem is that most CEOs still think branding is a marketing campaign, but campaigns don't build affinity. Too many companies continue to mistake brand awareness or internal campaigns for advocacy. Run an EVP campaign, launch a new video, share your values, job done, tick the box. But campaigns alone can't create affinity. Employees won't advocate for what they don't understand or feel. Without emotional connection to your strategy, without brand affinity, you'll never build the true culture of alignment, ownership, or advocacy. And that means your machine won't run, not the way you want it to. Why is this? Because affinity is not built through one-way messages. It's built through shared meaning, emotional resonance, and consistent storytelling that connects strategy to personal identity. Imagine this. You walk into an office and overhear two engineers explaining the new company vision to a new hire in their own words. That's affinity. You are at a client dinner and one of your team members passionately tells the story of why your product really matters, linking it to the client's business impact. That is affinity. You scroll through LinkedIn and see employees organically post stories about what they're proud of without being asked. That is brand affinity. A competitor approaches your talent, but they decline. They stay because they feel this company is part of who they are. That is brand affinity. It's employees becoming ambassadors, not because they were told to, not because they joined a program, but because they want to, and they do it organically. And when that happens, your machine doesn't just work, it thrives. Brand affinity is about more than a belief. It's about belonging. It's about status. People want to belong to something that enhances their identity, something their peers respect, something they're proud to post about, to talk about. When your strategy, your company culture, and leadership storytelling create that emotional connection, employees start to view the brand as part of their own story. And that's when they start advocating internally and externally, stay through tough times, attract like-minded talent, and raise the standards for themselves and others. It's how you go from just another job to a true talent magnet. Let's think about some real-life examples. Think of Apple in the early days under Steve Jobs. Those employees working at Apple under Steve Jobs, they didn't just understand the business strategy. They believed in Think Different. It gave them status. It made them proud to belong. It gave them a purpose to fight for. Or Patagonia, where employees and customers alike feel part of that tribe that stands for environmental activism. Or even just a local tech firm that I worked with, where after we built brand affinity through storytelling, the CEO started getting messages from employees saying, this is the first place where my WAC feels part of something bigger. No campaign alone can create that, but strategic storytelling done consistently can. And it's not just me saying this. Some of the most iconic founders and CEOs are vocal advocates for the power of brand affinity. How about Howard Schultz? He was the CEO of Starbucks. He built an entire global brand on the idea of the third place between work and home, creating deep emotional connections with customers and employees. And I think that brand affinity is true still today. Starbucks just holds this feeling of something prestige when you compare it to any other coffee shop brand along the same street, right? Then we have Richard Branson, known for so many things, but obviously the founder of the Virgin Group. He believes brand and culture are inseparable. He says your brand is only as good as your reputation, and your reputation is built by your people. Satya Nadella from Microsoft, he transformed Microsoft's internal culture through storytelling around empathy, growth mindset, and mission, leading to renewed employee pride and external advocacy. And then one of my favorites, I just admire her so much, Sarah Blakely. She is the founder of Spanx. She's constantly sharing her personal leadership journey and behind the scenes company stories, building incredible brand love from employees and customers alike. And when leaders embrace storytelling, affinity grows, and with it, business results. So how do you build brand affinity? Here's what CEOs and founders and leaders can do by yourselves, by ourselves. There's no marketing magic required. So first of all, you want to clarify your strategic story. Don't just state your mission. Tell a story why it matters for your customers, your people, your industry. And lead with that story. As the CEO, share your leadership moment. Show what the strategy looks like in action, why it makes you feel proud about it. Give people meaning. Show employees how their role connects to the bigger story. Encourage storytelling. Make space for employees to share their own stories internally and externally. And if you don't know how to do storytelling, make sure that you get help for that. Be consistent. Affinity isn't built in a one campaign. It grows through repeated aligned experiences. I like to talk about it like a dating scenario. You're not going to fall in love with someone in an instant, even though you may fall in love with the idea of someone in an instant. You want to get to know them first. That is building awareness. Then you want to learn if you can trust them, if your views and values of life, if you share them, if they connect. And as you connect with them, as you learn to know them better, as you learn to trust them, that is only when the affinity starts to build. If you do this as a one-off campaign, the journey is not at the affinity, at the falling in love stage yet. It takes more time. So campaigns alone cannot build affinity. They can remind you of that. They can remind you I exist, want to see me again, but they won't build affinity. Why does this matter more than ever? Well, in a world of hybrid work, changing talent expectations, fast-moving competition, everything that is going around in the world right now, brand affinity is what keeps your best people aligned, motivated, and engaged, even through the tough times. It's what makes your business resilient, because people don't just work harder for love, they sell better, they stay longer, they innovate more, they are willing to fight. Okay, here's my key takeaways for you today. Brand affinity is an emotional connection to what your business believes in. What is your purpose? What is the why of why you are willing to hustle every day? So that is a connection to the strategy. It's what turns employees into advocates organically without asking them to do so. It's built through consistent storytelling, not campaigns. And it creates alignment, loyalty, trust, and business results every CEO and founder can feel. If you want your business to run like a well-oiled machine, start with the engine. Your people's believe in your strategy, in your purpose, in your why, in your mission. And that belief comes from brand affinity. And affinity is built through story. If you want to learn more about how to turn your business into a story-driven business and lead with story, get my book, Story-Driven Employer Branding. You will learn how story-driven business is actually about branding your company in the human-to-human perspective. My name is Susanna Rantanen, and this is Story-Driven Business Podcast. One step further from building a modern employer brand, reaching the entire business and its important stakeholders. Until next time, keep leading with story.